My name is Christine Figueroa, and I am a Protective Security Advisor for the Department of Homeland Security in CISA, overseeing the state of Arizona. Thank you so much for having me on this Women in Security panel. I would also like to thank ASIS International for their partnership and the rest of the security group who have built this alliance. Under the CISA umbrella is the Protective Security Advisor Program, PSAs for short. We are subject matter experts in physical security and resiliency. In Arizona, I work very closely with our private sector and our federal, state, local, and tribal law enforcement and government partners here in Arizona to protect Arizona's critical infrastructure and our nation's critical infrastructure. Critical infrastructure refers to assets, systems, and networks, whether physical or cyber, so vital to the nation that their incapacitation or destruction would have a debilitating effect on national security, the economy, public health or safety, and our way of life. Basically, any physical structure that could be essential to everyday life, such as highways, dams, water and power plants, communication towers, factories, etc., as well as physical structures housing large number of people for special events like sporting arenas, Super Bowl stadiums, and convention centers, just to name a few. My primary mission is to proactively engage with these partners to enhance the security and resilience of critical infrastructure. So I do quite a bit of coordination with many partners across the board. I have 5 mission areas that directly support the security and resilience of our critical infrastructure. The first mission area is plan, coordinate, and conduct security surveys and assessments. Examples include providing an assist visit or security walkthrough, or a more in-depth assessment called the infrastructure survey tool. We also provide an infrastructure visualization platform which captures still photos and videos of facilities using a very high-tech video camera. All these assessments and surveys help identify vulnerabilities and provide options for consideration in mitigating these risks. The second mission is to plan and conduct outreach activities. I recently conducted one at our retail centers in preparation for the holiday season. We want to touch base with the retail industry to see if there are any security concerns they may be facing, especially this year with COVID-19 and the potential civil unrest and social unrest experienced this past year. In a few weeks, I will be doing the same type of outreach with our faith-based organizations. The third mission area is supporting National Special Security Events, NSSEs for short, and Special Event Activity Rating, SEER events for short. I have previously supported NSSEs with the 2009 and the 2013 presidential inaugurations, and I have also deployed to work 5 Super Bowls and many, many other sporting events. The fourth mission area is responding to incidents, whether they are natural or man-made. My orders are to support and deploy directly to the operation centers that is supporting those various incidents. Recently here in Arizona, I've been dealing with wildfires, possibly impacting critical infrastructure and the control of COVID-19. We must ensure our critical infrastructure partners, especially our lifelines, are not operationally impacted. And lastly, our fifth mission area is conducting training and exercises. I work closely with CISA's Office of Bombing Prevention and our regional exercise coordinator in providing my public and private sector stakeholders improvised explosive device awareness and risk mitigation training. I also provide valuable exercises in supporting our stakeholders' emergency action plans, which they have developed and desire to test through one of our exercises. I could go into so much more detail because of time. I think this pretty much sums up my job. You can also go and find all about CISA's programs and our risk assessments by going to CISA.gov, click on Infrastructure Security, and scroll down where you can see the Risk Assessment tab. On September 11, 2001, I was still on active duty in the Coast Guard. I was stationed in Washington, D.C. at the time, and soon after, I was called to be on the Tiger team in putting together a brand new organization, the Department of Homeland Security. We did quite a bit of work in a small cubicle, piecing this monumental task of putting together a new department. So I consider myself a plank owner with the Department of Homeland Security. As a Coast Guard officer, I started working in the Homeland Security Operations Center, which is now known as the National Operations Center. Soon after, I retired from the Coast Guard and began working for General Dynamics as a contractor, hired to help put together the Protective Security Advisor program, their mission statement, and operation plans. I then was offered a federal position as a Protective Security Advisor for the National Capital Region. My Coast Guard training, background, and leadership helped mold me in the position I hold today. What I like most about this job is getting out in the field and performing vulnerability assessments. I have the pleasure and privilege to work in locations and at facilities that are not open to the public view. We have 16 critical infrastructure sectors, and I've had the privilege to work with all these sectors in one way or another. For example, commercial facilities such as malls, hotels, and casinos, sporting venues. Also in sectors such as biolabs, where I had to suit up in a hazmat suit before entering. I participated in boat rides to look at mitigation measures at critical dams. I even hung off of a scaffolding from a major bridge in Virginia. I supported water plants, power plants, even national monuments. I can even say I sat on George Washington's head. Yes, the one on Mount Rushmore. When I perform these vulnerability assessments, not only do I get to understand their operations and what keeps them up at night, but it also builds a trust and partnership of support. Helping the caretakers, owners, and operators to improve their security and managing risk is very rewarding to me. Pointing out vulnerabilities, potential vulnerabilities, and identifying options for consideration, mitigating those vulnerabilities, truly helps me sleep well at night. Most, if not all, are not because of being a woman. I never felt a unique challenge because of being a woman. During my career in the military and within DHS, there were many times that I was the only woman in the room. I guess what I do feel is that it can be lonely when I seek out other women in the room. I definitely make an effort to introduce myself to other women in hopes to build that professional working relationship with them. There were times in my early career where I felt that I was looked upon and possibly underestimated. But once they got to know me and I gained their trust, they pretty much could figure out I could hold my own. CISA has over 3,300 employees. PSAs represent just 3% of the agency. There are currently 120 PSAs across the nation, and of those, 6 are female. It would be very progressive to increase that ratio in the PSA program. Efforts have been made to identify those pathways to similar occupation, skill sets, and work culture. We tend to fall within the same community as the military, law enforcement, emergency managers, private sector security, if you will. There should be a career path to those similar occupations. For instance, I wasn't even aware of the PSA program until I retired from the military. It is something that needs to be addressed at a more basic level and should be a career path before you graduate from, such as, law enforcement academy or the military, so that you know what you can strive for after you get out or retire. In speaking with my colleagues, many people do not even know that this is even available and that the pathway to get here looks like. If more women knew this, it would be something they could pursue early in their career paths. If not, basically, we're not going to get the number of women to narrow the margin. Also, I can't emphasize enough the veterans' eligibility. With their proven experience, superior training, and security clearances that they bring with them, they do make an excellent candidate for this position. As far as getting more women into CISA, it's really a matter of ensuring there is diversity across the board in every occupation. CISA is not an exception. I believe all occupations should have diversity because when it comes down to it, it's the people who run these organizations. So the more diverse your organization is, the more successful it will be. So it's about diversity more, and that includes people of color, women, and basically everybody, I would think. The bottom line is the recruitment of women in the field is dependent upon the recruitment of women into the organizations that feed into CISA, like the military, like our law enforcement and other DHS and DOJ elements. I have been with DHS since its inception, and it has been a very rewarding career for me. Like with any job, you need to research and know what you're getting into. Understand that it can be demanding and stressful, but any job that has purpose will come with challenges. Some positions like mine and Amanda's require us to travel 1 to 5 nights per month. And at times we are designated as essential personnel, which means we must serve during continuity of operation events. PSAs are almost all veterans. The ones who aren't are usually hired from within DHS, such as the Secret Service, FEMA, and or CISA. For state and local law enforcement and emergency response officials who are not veterans, it can be tough competing with the veterans. One other thought, the United States is short about 500,000 cybersecurity professionals, and that number is growing. So one of the few ways to get a job in CISA without veteran status is as a cybersecurity professional. So it is best to seek out a mentor, someone who is already in the position that you're looking to become and would like to mentor you. You will get firsthand information about the demands and the responsibilities of the position. But I can truly say, after being mentored by me and others, you'd want to have this job. It's not an easy job, but it is very rewarding. I say this quite a bit, and those who know me, I love being a PSA, helping owners and operators protect their infrastructure, and I have the best job in the federal government.